Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning. It is I, Westy, here with another off-the-cuff video. I will be writing down some ideas for videos. I've been fleshing out some ideas for the next episode of Tales from Amazon. So you can expect that tomorrow. Limited resources, limited ideas. But this is an off-the-cuff video about productivity and how you spend your time and what that time should be tailored towards if you want to lead a productive, happy life in the future. Now, so I say this unequivocally with fullest of good intentions because it's my day off of work. I thought I'd extend, some helping hands of advice here. If you're not at all productive, meaning if you can at least reason with yourself and convince yourself that you're not happy, that you're not in a setting to where positive idea reinforcement can take place, then you need to start working on it. You need to start tailoring time towards things you enjoy doing and not be a slave to the couch or to your computer or to your phone. There's a big generation problem with how we view and how we entertain ourselves and how we spend our time. So it would be best if you first took the initiative and came to the realization that you do have a problem communicating with people or or spending your time valuably. If you can convince yourself that you do have a problem and you come to terms with it, that's your first step in growth towards striving to be a better productive person. Now, it just sounds like a bunch of, basic level stuff. It's very, anybody could have told you this, but the problem with millennials, I know how I sound. The problem with millennials in our generation are we find fulfillment in short bursts of dopamine, serotonin, expunging. So anything that gets you that quick dopamine response, you don't have that risk versus reward. You have the reward immediately in the palm of your hands when you have a phone. So when you have something like that, you're not always taking into consideration that it's hurting you over a long period of time rather than helping you. So you need to at least admit that you might spend too much time with your technology. You might spend too much time doing mundane things that you don't even realize. And as soon as you realize that, you can start to better that, and you can start doing things and just like, I'm not saying be a catalyst to negative behavior or do something spontaneous. I am saying be spontaneous, but in a good sense. Spontaneity breaks up those usual habits and the usual rituals that you've come to solidify in your routine. And what do I mean by this? It's a deep premise, but at the same time a very basic level premise that anybody really could have told you. This is more towards people who are struggling to spend their time elsewhere where it would be appreciated and would be valued, say a job or some kind of schooling. I'd say, trade school. If you can ever find online some kind of trade, I would get into it. I don't even bother with college, to be honest. And that's a topic for another time. What I want to convey is that you're probably sitting here watching this on a computer or watching this on your phone, And this might have been, you might have a spree going here where you're just watching videos or whatever gets recommended to you to your sidebar. This is basically tailored towards people who are playing too much video games, indulging in too much social media, or indulging in too much entertainment via YouTube. You have to understand that you are feeding into a negative feedback loop that's hurting you over a long duration of time. So, you might be in a spree, you might be in a negative feedback loop, and you don't know how to spend your time. You have to do something spontaneous, whether it's, just go out, exercise for a little bit, clear your head, start doing things you haven't done before. Because we only have so much time on this planet. I know this sounds like run-of-the-mill bullshit, but I'm really trying to convey a point that I haven't fleshed it out yet, but I do know what I'm trying to say. That our generation, we're too quick to look for the reward instead of the risk. High level concept, but very basic level concept at the same time. So if you find things that are tailored towards you, since, we have unlimited resources in this age, this is the information age. We ushered in this era of technology to help you, any kind of problem you have, it can be solved in today's age. Little seamless cut here. So, I'm saying people in our generation and maybe older generations that have fell into these negative kind of feedback loops, they're more akin to be depressed, to be manically depressed, to be self-indulgent, not looking out for the best interests of those others. And you can be like that. Honestly, I'm like that. I barely give a fuck about people anymore. I barely do. At the same time, that's a good idea. That's a good premise to have if you want to be your own codependent, to be your own codependent's a bad word. If you want to be your own assertive being, if you want to establish things by yourself, if you do better with isolation, and you can build upon good values, then the more power to you. But if you're usually an extrovert and you're displaying these narcissistic type of patterns, whether it be whatever kind of personal thing you got going on, people will see that. And again, you shouldn't tailor everything towards impressing people and giving off great looks and shit. Like, look at me right now. I look like shit right now. I didn't even realize I look like a zombie. And, here I am, I'm filming, broadcasting myself. One of the worst fucking things you can do on here. But, I've come to terms with that. I'm not always radiating positive energy. I don't give off great vibes all the time. And I most certainly don't look my best that I could. That doesn't bother me. I don't conform towards people's ideas and display myself the way they want to see me. I display myself how I want. You got a problem with me? Bite me. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm back on topic here. There's people who indulge in too much media, but they're usually extroverts. People will see that and realize that you have something wrong with you. Because you can be an extrovert and have introvert qualities like me. If I'm at a social gathering, I'll do the best I can to come off and give good vibes all around, positivity, woo. man, I'm happy. Things are going good. Things are going grand. You know, this happened to so and so, but you know, this made me. This is how I felt about this. Did you hear about this? Those kind of things. If you're good with that and situations like that, you're a type of person people want to be around. But if you're a person who's you're like you're two-faced, or you're so one-sided or one-dimensional, people will point that out, and they'll see you have something wrong with you. And ultimately, once you self-admit that you might have a problem, things will get better for you. And it could be that you are a victim of circumstance. I'm a victim of circumstance. We're all victims of circumstance. We all are. So don't give people that kind of bullshit, because a lot of emotional duress you might be facing right now, it might have to do with your own mannerisms, how you give yourself off to the public, how you display yourself. I mean, again, it sounds like I'm talking about like be prim and proper. Oh, do 100 push-ups every morning, bro. Take showers, bro. To do all this and that shit. Chicks will dig you, man. You just gotta take a shower, bro. Get a haircut, bro. Those guys are. Listen to me. Those guys are fucking nerds, and they lift so they think they got something over on you. Really? I get into lifting. I'm active all the every fucking day. I'm active, 100% of the time. So give me that shower BS. Don't try to tailor yourself towards what people want you to be. Just like with if you struggle with talking to females or the opposite sex, and you're looking towards improving upon that, and want to build healthy relationships, you have to definitely project yourself the best way you can in terms of how well you can present yourself, not by someone else's ideas or how they want you to show yourself off. God, I can't articulate some stuff. It's a problem of mine I'm trying to work on. But yeah, this went from talking about indulging in too much technology to dating advice. I never had a date. Truth is out. That being said, there's avenues you can take towards working towards step 2. Once you realize you have the self-actualization that you might have a problem, you can start building upon good routines, healthy routines, not just mentally but physically. Get into some kind of exercise daily, whatever it is. You know, don't be one to just always sit around, to always, you know, be glued to a phone or glued to your TV, glued to a couch, glued to your computer. Because in times where you can't do that, that's not a skill set, and that's not going to help anybody when it comes time to when you need to do a duty towards something or somebody. You could be one of these people who might just like say fuck everything and do your own thing. Commendable, yeah, but where are you going to end up in the long run? What are your holdings right now? What is your plan 5 years from now? Start taking that into consideration. If you're not, now's a good time to do it. Not 5 years, 10 years. Think further down the line. Think ahead. Plan ahead. I did this with I said this in my first video, is to plan ahead for when things go south. You know? If you make plans, I guarantee you, some kind of plan, some kind of healthy routine too, with exercise, physical activity, will release the duress you're bottling up inside. And you'll build upon that. You'll have healthy avenues. You'll start healthy eating habits. If you just put the phone down, and if you just realize that it's not it's not an absolutely valuable asset to you. It's not your lifeline. If we come this far, decades, centuries, without this kind of technology, then I think we can manage to be off of it for just like a couple days or so, to be honest with you. Because I was there. This comes from a place where I was there. I was, excuse me. Jesus. Bless me. Gesundheit. I come from the same kind of place you are, or not you. Let me not make assumptions. I come from the same place where I was glued to video games, and that was my outlet with everything, and that's how I dealt with the amount of trauma I've went through and the amount of shit I've had to go through. I blocked everything out and I played video games that I didn't buy with my money, mind you. I had them bought for me. When you're a kid, you don't think of these kind of things. So, if you're a kid right now, I'd say start making plans and don't give up video games. No one's telling you to stop doing what makes you happy, but start to monitor it. Start to realize that it's not a valuable asset 10 years down the line. If you think like that, you're ahead of the curve. You really will be. Trust me. So, getting back to my side of the story, when I was in this kind of absolute redundancy, this idiosyncrasy of just, I tuned everything out and I played Halo, I played Call of Duty, all kinds of games. I wasn't a PC nerd. I wish I were that cool. Yeah, you know, some people were stuck to consoles. I played stuff on PC. I played Fallout New Vegas on there. I played, or my favorite games, Borderlands, Fallout, some Xbox Live games. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but trust me, I played not only the mainstream things people haven't really built that haven't turned mainstream until years later, like Dark Souls. I was playing that. I'm not a hipster Dark Souls guy, but I'm just saying I played that way before it was getting really popularized years ago. It was always a popular brand, but I'm saying it was more kind of a niche kind of game to get into, yeah. Or what other kind of games? Classic kind of games too, like on the NES, SNES. God, taking a nostalgia trip and kind of getting off topic again. But yeah, if you definitely realize that you have a problem with video games and it might affect a lot of shit, uh, on a personal level, on a emotional level, you might feel like there's things missing in your life if you spend all your time on there, like I did. And if you're using it all the time to escape your problems, you're going to realize it's time wasted, and it's time that you could have spent developing better coping mechanisms. We all need one. And if it may not be a video game addiction, but it's something that will affect relationships. Any kind of media. It doesn't just have to be video games, but case in point, it's usually video games. Like with males. With females, I think it's social media. Definitely. Everything in between, they have their own vices. But you have to take the time to realize that it's not a skill. When you have avenues to escape to and you have that quick dopamine response, but you don't have the risk, you have the reward, things further down the line will get worse before they get better. Things do have to get worse before they get better anyway. But if you're feeding into the negative feedback loop that might have gotten you in that position, if you can think deeply enough and actually evaluate your situation, if you have great situational awareness and you can piece together why something's happened, then and you just build upon that, you'll start to be happier, you'll start to be more self-aware, and you'll start to give off better vibes than you might now. So, there might be some stuff unsaid here, but for the most part, don't use vices in today's era to escape your problems in this information age. It's information overload. Start developing things that are going to help you further down the line, whether it's learning about something you always want to learn about, whether it's some kind of exercise you can do every day and build upon that and get better, some kind of muscle memory. Some kind of muscle memory could be in your favor. Then that's a good, healthy outlet to start to build upon. Things will start to get better. As I say outside my hotel. So, all in all, you gotta do the best you can. You gotta not totally rely on others. And when things go south, plan ahead. Same kind of points I made in my first video. And don't be overindulgent in the kind of technology and the kind of information we have now, because it'll fuck you over, dude. Video games can destroy a relationship. If you have a girlfriend or boyfriend and you're just on constantly, you tune them out by doing that. You gotta realize that what you're doing is you're destroying another person mentally while you get a quick dopamine response off a computer screen and off a TV screen or whatever. And you gotta realize that it's not always in your favor. Ball's in your court. You gotta make the basket. You gotta be the man. You gotta be the woman. Things will start to look up for you. So with that being said, I think I'll end it here. Yeah. My name's Westy. If you got any kind of fulfillment out of this, or if you walked away with anything, walk away with that I've been in a situation maybe similar to yours, and I'm trying to give you advice on how to build healthy, I'm trying to give you ideas that tailor towards you and nobody else. You have to think of yourself before you can start to think for others, and think after others, and take care of others. As soon as you do that, you'll start to become just an absolute godsend. You might be a saint. If religion's your thing, yeah. I think you don't have to be in tune with religion to experience spirituality and things of a divine nature. I've had things happen in my life that are divine intervention. I have no explanation for it. And I'm always thinking rationally and thinking logically. And I'm trying to use scholarly kind of thinking. That scholarly kind of thinking gets you only so far. You need to have a mixture of everything. Adopt new ideas, adopt new routines. And you'll build upon that, trust me. Be spontaneous in a good sense. Don't do illegal shit. Don't do it. It won't help you. Is that a hint towards something? Who knows? I've been Westy. I am Westy. You've been watching this video. You're gonna leave a like because you like me. Because why would you be watching this? Okay. Catch you guys on the flip side. Tales of Amazon episode 2 coming tomorrow. So expect that. Once I fully flesh out these ideas. So, take care everybody.